Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll be talking about component interactions in the page builder. To start off, you luckily don't need anything because even some pre-built pages already have interactions in them, so we can look up on how they work, and I'm going to show you how you can create them yourself. Let's get started. So interactions are used to dynamically change the content of your page. Because what interactions do is basically they are predefined options behind your components, and they make your components talk to each other. So we have component A, for example. What an interaction does is you can define when I click on component A, something happens to component B. And luckily we can already have some pre-built examples in our page builder. So what we can do is we can go to our pages section, create a new page, and use the CRUD with slide out template, for example. So click use. Let me create this page. Let me select a model that I have built for this. Let's say name, status, and created at. Save. So what we can do is this page is being generated for us, and it will show that it already has some interactions in the page. So let's take a look at that page. So once your page has created, we can have a look at where you can find interactions and where some of those pre-built interactions have been set up. So let's have a look. First off, interactions can be found behind nearly every single component. So you can click on a random component and then you can find the interactions section next to the options, next to the interactions, the component options. So what I can do is I can click on a button, for example. I can click on a logo, and I can click on the interaction section. And here I can create a new interaction. So to create a new interaction and to let my components talk to each other, I need to fill in 3 steps. The first one is when I want the change to happen. So when I ... the app bar, something happens. So when I click the app bar, when I change the app bar, or whenever something else happens. And this can be an event, for example, an action event, or another interaction trigger event. So what happens when I click the app bar? Then I can select a function. So I can select an action that will happen to something else. So for now, let me just click on something. Let's say enable. And the last step is select a target component. So whenever I click the app bar, I am going to enable a button. Well, and this is basically how you can set your own interaction. This lets me talk from the app bar to a button, for example. Well, let's first go over some of these component functions, because most of the component functions, they sort of speak for themselves when you can read them, such as enable, disable. This will enable the component that you are targeting or disable the component that you are targeting. The filter functionality or the reset filter functionality will trigger a filter on a data container. Refetch will re-get the data. So for example, maybe you have made an update to your database, and in your page builder you would like the data container, the specific data container that you're targeting, to refresh. For this, we use the refetch function. So there you also can set the left value and the right value, or the visibility. Set left and set right value is used for choices, for options in your components. Whenever you have a left value or a right value, for example, in one of your components, then you can set either of the values. With the search value, you can set a value that needs to be searched on. For example, you have an input field, then you can use this as the search value on your data container. Then we have show and show hide. So show is just a show function. So whenever you trigger this on a component, it will show. However, whenever you have the show hide function, it will either show or either hide. So it will toggle on or off. For opaque, semi-transparent, and transparent, it will change the visibility states from a component. toggle loading state will, well, as it says, it will toggle a loading state for a component. So whenever you need a loading state for a certain container, like a data container, then you can use the toggle loading state functionality. Remove the custom background image and set custom background image. Well, it either removes or sets a background image for for example, box component or a component that uses this background image. Login, logout, these are also pre-built in the login form or the logout button, but you can also create them yourselves with these functionalities. Navigate to output URL is, as you can see, it's a navigation. Redirect will redirect you to another page within your pages section. Set current record is used to navigate data through your page. So for example, whenever I click on something and I want to open a small editing tab, then I can use the set current record function, and set language can be used for our language functionality. So for example, I want to translate my page to German and I have the German language set up ready, then I can use the set language and then select German. So every time I press a certain button and have this set language functionality behind it, it will be set to German, for example. So these are all the different kind of functionalities that you can use. And you can set it up by, well, selecting whenever you want it, what do you want to happen, and after that, what do you want to trigger? Well, in this case, for example, a button. And again, the last setting of your component interaction is selecting the target that you want to affect. So in this case, what do I want to enable? Well, I want to enable button. But here we also realize that there's another important thing that we need to keep in mind when we are creating pages and when we are working with components. That is, name the buttons that you want to use and name components that you want to use. So for example, I really don't know what kind of button I'm targeting right now. So we can fix that by going to a specific button. For example, I have the Add Project button here. So I can click on this button, and in the left top of my page, I can rename this to Add Project button. So right now, whenever I want to target the Add Project button, I know that whatever is over here will also be called the Add Project button. So let's go back to my app bar. So let's set it up so that whenever I click the app bar over here, I will either hide or show the Add Project button as some nifty Easter egg, for example. So interactions, whenever I click the app bar, show hide, Add Project button. So here we go. Well, and as you can see, like I have enable shows me some different options. So as you can see, the Add Project button is in here as well. And show hide will have way more targets. So Betty also helps you think along when you're setting up functionalities so that you cannot just disable or enable something that you cannot enable or disable. So right now, whenever I click my app bar, I will either show or hide the Add Project button. So let's save this. So there are also some other interactions built into this page. So let me go over some of those interactions. The first one is the pencil button that I have over here. This pencil normally means edit, for example. Well, we have a data table, and when you click on the pencil, you can edit whatever is in this data table. Well, there's also an interaction behind this pencil that says show drawer sidebar. This is a sidebar that will pop up on the left or the right hand side of your page, and it will also set a record that we click on inside this drawer sidebar. So as you can see, whenever I click on this pencil, I will show the drawer sidebar, and I will also set the record that I'm clicking on into the form that I'm opening. So let me show you what this would look like in a live page. So let me press compile. And as you can see, I already have some projects set up. So project 1, project 2, 3, 4, etc. So first off, let's check the Easter egg that we've built in. So whenever you click on the app bar, the Add Project button, they're interacting with each other. So the app bar over here toggles the show and hide for the button that we have within our page. But there are also some predefined ones. So for example, whenever I click the edit pencil, a sidebar, a drawer sidebar should appear. So click, and as you can see, the drawer sidebar on the right hand side of the page appears. So the interaction from the edit button talks to the drawer sidebar and says, hey, I want you to show right now. And the set current record functionality tells us that I want project ID or project 1, the ID from project 1. I want to pass this to the update form that we have on the right hand side. That also means that whenever I press on the project 3 edit pencil, that it will automatically update to project 3. And now the cool thing is that whenever I press update, something will also automatically change in my page. So let's go to update. Say project 3 will be called project 30 from now on. Update. And as you can see, not only do I get a little pop-up saying project updated successfully, I press cancel, and as you can see, my table has automatically been refetched. So what happened is the form on the right-hand side also had an interaction with my data table saying, hey, I want you to refetch the data. So let's go to that page and let's have a look at how that looks. So let me open up the dialog, or let me open up, sorry, the dialog for the drawer sidebar. You can look at drawer sidebars or at hidden components by pressing the eye icon for visibility via the component tree. So let me open this up, and as you can see, here we have a form, and behind this form there is an interaction. And as you can see, there is an on-action success trigger. So that on-action success you can find behind the more options. So when I ... the form, so when there is an action success within my form, I would like to refetch something, and that is going to be the data table, because you can only refetch data items. And in this case, that meant something that has already been created. So let me open up the one that has been created. On action success, refetch the data table. So as you can see, when I changed project 3 to project 30, it automatically refreshed the data table. So now I can hide the drawer sidebar again. So let me go to the component tree, and here we go. Drawer, hide it. So there you go. So this is the way that you can let interactions in your page talk to each other. And you can set up all kinds of nifty things, such as whenever an action triggers a success, I want my data to be refetched, because a success means I have successfully added new data. So let me also show that in my page. So this is how interactions in your page builder work. Give it a try yourself and see how dynamically advanced and amazing you can set up your pages. Good luck with interactions.